Marylee Stephenson, folks.
I know I'm going to die. I'm 81. I know it happens to people. I read the newspaper. I'm in the right demographic. And I do the right things, okay? I have a will. I have one of those representation agreements. I have a power of attorney, or POA, as I think of her. So I've got that. And I happened to run into the POA in our shared laundry one day, and she says to me, "You've got to make a list, Marylee." I'm a little puzzled. I said, "What? You know?" She said, "Well, you are going to die one day." I'm thinking, does she know something I don't know? But you know all kinds of people, you know, and you got your Facebooks, and you got your YouTube, you got all those things, and it's not like you've got to let people know, you know, they're all around. She said, it's not like, you know, you read the last pages on Sunday of the Vancouver Sun, and you see these fuzzy pictures of people, and these little sort of repetitive things that somebody cranked out. She said, you've got to think, this is the digital age. So I know she knows these things. She has a POA. So I try to think this, because in fact I do know her, in touch with a lot of people with this kind of charm. Why not, you know? And so I think, okay, we're in a, how do I filter them? Because I think that's a digital term too. You're like, I've got to filter off it. And so we're in a forestry province, and you know when you see those big trees that they've cut down, and they've got the heartwood. And I think, yeah, that would be people, you know, that I'm really close to, that I really love. And maybe then that I've got a heartwood bunch. And then in those concentric circles, you know, they get a little further and further apart. And then that could be a group. And then there's the ones that are just right under the bark. And so she said to me, you have to be a content creator. You can't just write this little thing. You've got to be a content creator, because it is the digital age. So I think about that, and I think, all right, if I'm a content creator, and I've got these groups nearer and further. So I start thinking, I'd start writing. I start dropping okay. And I think of the Heartwood ones. What will I write? What will she convey? You can imagine. It'll say, we are so sorry to lose Marylee. She was charming. She was a fashionista. She was smart. She told good stories. It was, and come to the celebration of life. You'll all gather. You'll all bond. You'll tell each other stories of how she changed your life totally in positive ways. So I thought, okay, that's a start. And then I thought of the middle concentric rings. Of course, that it includes, shall we say, a certain ambivalence. All right. So how am I going to convey that? Because I'll have to say things like, nobody knew more than Marylee did that she didn't always meet her goals socially. That while she was always well-intended and felt firmly that she could help people, by her advice. And we know that some of you, if you're getting this email, are aware of some of those incidents. For instance, more than one of you probably heard the old, "Why did you marry that asshole?" Or the occupational advice, "Why don't you just get off your butt and get a job? Tim Hortons is hiring." And then we go to the bark ones or whatever. But it happens, I realize that the bark ones could be in any of these filtered categories. And that I have led, how shall we say this, not the simplest life. And also, what's that phrase? I learned it from Brian about rodeos. I've had more than one rodeo. Okay? So I know that as these things go out into the world, that there's going to be a lot of people kind of clutching themselves up, right? They're going to be frightened. But I thought, no, I'm a kind person. I'm going to make this clear. And so it will say, if you are receiving this email, given how widely and how well Marylee knew people, and perhaps including you, she wanted me to assure you that she follows, when it's issues of death and dying, she follows the Las Vegas model post-dem, which is, if you've played with Marylee, it stays with Marylee. Now, there will not be a celebration of life. And she wanted to assure you that there will be not only no celebration, like no emails will be exchanged, no slippage will be that you received it, you received it. You're safe. You're safe. Now just after you've read this, get a little sleep, call your therapist. Or if you really push it, the POA may organize a PTSD support group. So then I thought, all these people getting all these messages so heartfelt, so ambivalent, so like, oh my God, no. But you know, you have control now in the digital age. You have control. You receive this, and there are three choices you have. One is you could save this for your family archives, depending on which category you want. Or you could just reply. You could reply to the POA and say, like, hate me, unsubscribe. Or you have the final option we all have here today, friends, and that is hit delete. Thank you.